Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Rook and pawn endgames can be the great leveler. After a battle in the opening and middle game, entering a rook and pawn endgame can almost be a bit of a reset, especially at the beginner intermediate level. I raised this in a video a couple of weeks ago, but it's worth repeating. In this game, I enter the endgame effectively down 2 points of material with my opponent at +5 to +7 advantage. And yet, with a bit of luck and inaccurate play by my opponent in response to aggressive moves, I managed to get the win. Please enjoy. Let's start with the review. Now, this is chess.com's algorithm, and I played with the black pieces, and not a super accurate game. It was okay, about 70% for my opponent, 75% for myself. But in this game, it was a real battle. I sort of, the opponent makes a very interesting gambit, and I just managed to survive their attack. And then again, winning in the middle game, winning into the end game in a very commanding position, all the way up to +10, and yet, bang, managed to somehow clinch the win. The opponent even had a brilliant move in this game. So let's have a look now at the analysis. So my opponent starts with e4, I play e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. So at the moment, it looks basically like an Italian, a guaco piano. But here, the opponent plays an interesting move, something I didn't really expect. So they played d5. And this basically then, invites me to capture, of course. And let's move back. And this basically transposes now to the Scotch game. So this is a very common position in the Scotch game. It will be more usual in the Scotch game after e4, e5, that the opponent would immediately play then d4. But a different move order, but we're in the Scotch. And this is apparently the Hacksaw Gambit. And the opponent played knight g5. So, immediately putting potentially a lot of pressure on that weak f pawn. Now, in the Scotch, I know that this is tricky because I was once just completely got smashed in a game where the opponent played this system. And it was some time ago, so I couldn't actually remember how I should respond, other than that I do need to put extra defense on that pawn. I eventually decided to play knight e5. So potentially with the defense and also attack of the bishop. Now, apparently that was not a good move. As you see, +2 already. So this is a tricky line. Best move here was knight g6 and having the knight defend the pawn. So now I know for next time. Opponent captured anyway, and that's their sort of brilliant move. Capture back with knight, they capture, and now I know that I cannot capture because otherwise I'm in serious trouble if I do that. So I moved queen out of the way, queen f8, and apparently that was the best move, but +3, so I'm in some serious trouble in this opening. Now the opponent shouldn't have played queen h5 because there's not actually really much the queen can do, and the queen then now becomes a bit of a target. So firstly, I wanted to open up the lines, and also, of course, the queen is attacking the bishop. So apparently just moving here, giving check first was better. Well, good to know. They play bishop at g5 with attack on the queen. I was pretty sure that that was potentially fine by blocking with the knight, which simultaneously comes with an attack on the queen. They capture, I capture back, and I knew I was doing okay by this point. So I knew it was terrible before, so that was so my intuition was right. The computer thought it was +3, and now in this position is actually slightly favoring me, -0.6. So this was not the correct move after I avoided that attack from the bishop. Bishop moves out of the way, which I suppose makes sense. I decide to play the other bishop at this point. Capture, capture. So I wanted to get rid of their active pieces, but this is a tricky line, not the most accurate moves. I suppose we're fairly close to equality. They give a check. I moved the king out of the way, so apparently that would have been better. Short castles, I bring a rook to the picture, so rook AF8, attack the queen. That wasn't the best move. Queen sidesteps. I wasn't sure it was the best. I thought maybe this was good, but I was worried about sort of the queen attack on that pawn. But apparently Stockfish is unworried, unperturbed by that. They now bring, develop the other knight. So again, slight advantage, 0.5. I make a bishop move. I have to admit, I just wasn't sure what I should do. So pushing the pawn, yeah, I thought about that. Taking up space, so that would have been better. Now +3, so I'm making errors in the middle game. And yep, this was good. I knew that that king in that position was problematic. I should have moved the king out of the way sooner. So got rid of the queens, got rid of that piece, and now we're materially balanced, but these pawns are doubled. Their pawns are all in good positions. I may have an advantage here, but that's pretty much dead right away. So now they're a pawn up. I decide to play bishop c5. Yep, good move, pinning that. Defending that, meaning that I can't easily capture because they'll get that back with check. Move the king out of the way. Here, I'm just one step too slow. However, I decided to capture anyway. I thought I was probably in a losing position here. And this is where, Stockfish reckons that wasn't the best move, but, their best move, there's still +3 advantage to white. And with these double pawns, if I keep the pieces on the board, I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to win. So I thought maybe I'll have a chance converting this into a rook and pawn endgame. And that's what I did. So that's why I captured, capture, capture, capture. And here I thought, okay, I know I'm down, first I'm down a pawn. These are doubled. But, rook and pawn endgames are tricky. There we go. Attack the rook. That's fine. So they're attacking here. So my goal would be trying to promote, or at least the threat of promotion gives me power. So move that pawn. Firstly, move that pawn out of the way. They move there. Okay. Let's now place, an attack. They opt to capture, but that's fine because now my rook is now in front of the pawn. So that pawn is now protected. They capture, that's fine. Move up. Okay, so, I need to be careful with sort of that potentially coming with check. So let's move that up. Okay, now I thought I might have some chances. Because one of the things with the rook is that it can only go forward and back, left and right, orthogonal directions. I think I've mentioned before in another video, the rook is basically like a chariot. So it's not very maneuverable in tight spaces. It can get boxed in. And pawns are great for boxing things in. My pawns, their pawns, could I be able to trap their rook? So that's what I was thinking. So move the king up. Need to support the pawns. They move down. Okay, I thought I still had enough time. Move up again. Okay, gonna have to force the rook to go away. Now, if I thought the rook, if they went this way, yep, I've lost the game. But will they? Ooh, they try to protect. Threaten again. And now the opponent has one last chance of evacuating the rook out of the box that's closing in, and they make the wrong move. Okay, they make the wrong move, and that's why it's a blunder from +10 to only +2.5. And basically, I thought I probably can trap the rook here and in fact capture the rook, because with that move now, the rook, again, only sort of orthogonal direction, so it can go here, can't capture their own piece, can go here, can go here, can go here. That square, defended. That square, defended. That, defended. Well, actually, that's not defended by the king, sorry, but defended by the other pawn. So now the rook is trapped. It's basically taken out of the game, and because the pawns can't even move backwards, there's nothing that they can even do. So if they try to push that pawn forward, that's fine. I can just move that pawn forward, and they have the same problem. The rook is still trapped in its little box. So they push, And here I actually thought I was winning here. I'm actually not winning. So +9, I thought that I had enough time to block promotion. But actually, and that's why I actually make that move. And you can see +3.7. I actually don't have enough time to block promotion. I made a mistake because they can firstly go here. And then if I try to do something, either go here or here, then, you know, that pawn now defends that pawn. So, you know, and then my rook is just not fast enough to be able to take out that pawn and prevent that pawn from promoting. So this was not actually the right move. However, you know, I didn't see that in the game. I don't think my opponents saw it in the game either. So they pushed. Now that is the wrong move. So -7.5 because bang, definitely now can prevent promotion. Capture, capture. Okay, so now I'm a straight up rook up, you know, -62, basically as a checkmate net. And here my opponent resigns. So bit of luck, you know, just the trickiness of the rook and pawn end games allowed me to capture the win from what was really, I thought, a losing position. Good game, GG. Rook and pawn endgames are just tricky and can be complex. So where does that leave us? If you're clearly ahead and winning in the middle game, I would probably try to avoid entering a rook and pawn endgame, unless the advantage is such that the win will likely be trivial. On the other hand, if you're losing positionally, but only down a little bit of material, like a pawn, entering a rook and pawn endgame can be a way to reverse your fortunes. Game complexity increases the risk of error, and if you're losing anyway, it offers a chance to equalize and even win. I hope you found this video interesting, and thanks for watching.